When someone ignores us, it can feel like a wound deep within, as if we're unworthy of their attention or love. That pain is real and it deserves acknowledgement. But today, let's explore this experience from another perspective as a sign, a message gently guiding us back to ourselves. When someone ignores us, it can feel like a silent blow, a wound that goes unseen yet affects us deeply. Ignoring may seem subtle, but the sting of feeling overlooked or dismissed can strike hard. For many, it's not just about the absence of attention, but the complex emotions it brings up, the questions, the insecurities, the self-doubt. Feeling ignored can stir up thoughts that whisper we're somehow unworthy, invisible, or unimportant. It's like a mirror reflecting back a distorted image of ourselves, where we start to wonder if there's something lacking within. That pain is real, and acknowledging it is a crucial first step toward understanding and healing. At the core, we all yearn to feel seen, heard, and valued. Human beings are wired for connection, for that sense of belonging that says, I matter, I am valued. So when someone we care about ignores us, whether it's a friend, a partner, or even a stranger, it disrupts that sense of belonging, of being acknowledged. We might start to internalize the pain, believing that if someone chooses not to engage with us, then maybe we're the problem. This is a natural response. It's human to search for reasons, to understand why we're experiencing discomfort. But too often we conclude that the fault lies with us, which only compounds the hurt. Feeling ignored can trigger old wounds. Many of us carry experiences from our past where perhaps we felt unseen or dismissed. Maybe it was a parent who was too busy, a friend who didn't have time for us, or moments in school when we felt invisible. When someone ignores us in the present, it can revive those old feelings of inadequacy. We might not even realize it, but the pain of being ignored in the present moment often links back to these older emotional imprints. The experience taps into a core need that was never fully met, a place within us that still longs for acknowledgement and validation. One of the reasons the pain feels so intense is that we often interpret being ignored as a form of rejection. Rejection suggests that we are somehow unworthy of attention, unworthy of love. This perception hurts because it goes to the heart of our self-image, making us question our own value. But while the pain may feel personal, it's essential to understand that someone ignoring us says more about them than it does about us. Their actions may be a reflection of their own inner world, perhaps their own struggles, insecurities, or lack of awareness about how their behavior affects others. Still, that awareness doesn't always ease the pain, especially when our minds are filled with questions like, what did I do wrong? Or am I not enough? There's a tremendous healing power in simply acknowledging this pain without judgment. So often we want to dismiss it, push it away, or even deny it. We might tell ourselves to toughen up or that it's not a big deal. But the truth is, when we ignore our pain, it doesn't disappear, it lingers and sometimes grows, creating more profound hurt beneath the surface. Acknowledging our pain means saying, yes, this hurts and it's okay that I feel this way. It's about validating our own emotions instead of expecting that validation to come from someone else. When we give ourselves permission to feel, we begin to heal. Because healing can only happen when we face what's truly within us. Self-compassion is an essential part of this process. When we experience the pain of being ignored, it's an opportunity to treat ourselves with kindness, to be our own source of comfort. Imagine how you might respond to a friend who feels hurt by someone ignoring them. You'd likely reassure them, remind them of their worth, and offer them understanding. We rarely do this for ourselves, but we need that same kind of gentle, loving approach. Telling ourselves that our feelings are valid, Reminding ourselves that we are inherently worthy helps us shift from self-criticism to self-acceptance. Pain is part of the human experience, and there's no shame in feeling hurt. When we approach our pain with self-compassion, we begin to see ourselves through a lens of love instead of judgment. Taking time to process these emotions is also crucial. Sometimes we're so eager to feel better that we rush through our feelings, but healing isn't a race, it's a journey. Allow yourself to sit with the discomfort. Write about it, talk to a trusted friend, or simply spend a quiet moment reflecting on how you feel. Each of these acts helps you honor the experience, giving space for the emotions to be acknowledged, which in turn allows them to naturally transform and release. As we come to terms with the pain, we also gain an opportunity to reflect on our own needs. The pain of being ignored can remind us to look within and ask, what am I really seeking here? Often, the need for acknowledgement from others reflects a deeper need to see and appreciate ourselves. Maybe this experience is guiding us to become our own source of validation, to recognize that our worth isn't dependent on anyone else's approval. When we acknowledge our pain with open-hearted compassion, we begin to reconnect with our own value. This process doesn't erase the hurt, but it does help us heal and grow, empowering us to feel whole and worthy independent of how others choose to respond. Ultimately, acknowledging the pain of being ignored is a step toward deeper self-awareness and self-love. It allows us to honor our emotions, validate our experiences, and treat ourselves with the care we deserve. Through this journey, we learn that while others may come and go, our sense of self, our inherent worth, remains unshakable. We realize that we are worthy of love and respect, not because others see it, but because we choose to see it within ourselves. When someone ignores you, it can feel like a void opening up, one that is difficult to fill and even harder to understand. This experience often leaves us questioning ourselves, seeking reasons, or feeling like something is missing. Yet, what if, instead of looking at it as something negative or personal, we saw it as a sign? Perhaps being ignored can be a wake-up call, an opportunity to look deeper into what we truly need and how we're relating to the world around us. Seeing this situation as a sign isn't about denying the pain or ignoring our emotions. It's about interpreting this moment in a way that allows for growth, reflection, and personal empowerment. Often, when we're ignored, our first reaction is to focus on the other person's actions and to wonder why they're not engaging with us. This response is normal. We naturally want to understand why we're experiencing a certain discomfort. But seeing this situation as a sign encourages us to shift our focus from them to ourselves. It suggests that there may be something deeper in this experience, something that's trying to direct us toward a new awareness. Maybe it's a sign to pay closer attention to our inner world, our sense of self-worth, or the relationship we have with our own thoughts and feelings. When we interpret an uncomfortable situation as a sign, it invites us to examine the patterns we hold in our relationships. Have we been seeking validation or acknowledgement from outside sources too often? Are we placing our sense of self-worth in someone else's hands? If being ignored stirs up strong feelings within us, it may be revealing an area in our lives where we've been relying too heavily on others for our sense of security or significance. This awareness can be incredibly powerful because it opens up the possibility of reclaiming our self-worth from external sources and nurturing it from within. Seeing the experience as a sign can also help us become more intentional about the energy we allow into our lives. Perhaps being ignored is highlighting where we need to establish stronger boundaries or where we've been accepting less than we deserve in relationships. Instead of viewing it as a personal flaw or something wrong with us, we might interpret it as a signal that we deserve connections that are more balanced, more reciprocal. This situation can be a way of realigning with people who truly respect, value, and support us rather than those who may leave us feeling unappreciated or invisible. Another layer of insight that comes from interpreting this experience as a sign is learning to communicate with ourselves more honestly. This moment of discomfort can be a reminder to ask ourselves what we really need in our relationships and if we're truly getting that. Are we looking to others to fill gaps in our self-esteem? Are we relying on their attention to feel fulfilled or complete? These questions aren't easy to confront, but they are essential if we want to build relationships that are truly nourishing and if we want to cultivate a sense of self that is independent of others' actions. Sometimes being ignored also serves as a sign to slow down and reconnect with our own presence. It's a chance to check in with ourselves to see if we've been neglecting our own needs while focusing too much on others. When we're constantly seeking others' approval, it's easy to lose sight of our own voice, our own passions, and our own inner guidance. This experience can be a way for us to realize that before looking outward for validation, we should first look within. By centering ourselves, we allow for a kind of peace that isn't easily shaken by the actions or inactions of others. Seeing this as a sign also reminds us of the impermanence of situations and the growth that discomfort can bring. Being ignored doesn't have to be a fixed reality. It's a transient experience, one that's part of our journey toward greater self-awareness. When we recognize this, we gain a sense of resilience. We start to see that while we can't always control how others behave, we can control how we respond and what we take away from the experience. We can choose to grow stronger, wiser, and more in touch with our own sense of worth. Taking this perspective can be incredibly liberating. Instead of staying in a place of pain or frustration, we use this experience as a stepping stone to deeper self-understanding. We begin to realize that, regardless of how others treat us, our value remains intact. This awareness fosters a self-assurance that doesn't require anyone else's validation to feel complete. Seeing the situation as a sign doesn't mean we ignore our pain or push our emotions aside. Rather, it's about embracing those feelings as teachers, showing us areas where we can grow, heal, and become more attuned to ourselves. It's a reminder that each experience, even one as uncomfortable as being ignored, carries within it the potential for insight and transformation. It prompts us to listen more closely to what we need, to respect ourselves more deeply, and to cultivate connections that genuinely honor who we are. Ultimately, this experience teaches us that our worth isn't something others can give or take away. It's something we nurture and affirm within ourselves. When we choose to see moments of discomfort as signs, we become empowered to lead a life that's guided by self-respect, inner peace, and a profound understanding of our own value. By interpreting these moments as meaningful, we create a life path that's rich with purpose and resilience, where each experience, even the challenging ones, serves as a stepping stone to a stronger, more fulfilled self. When we feel the pain of being ignored, it's easy to focus outward, analyzing the actions of others, wondering why they're treating us this way, and feeling lost in questions that often have no clear answers. However, instead of looking outward, there's a powerful invitation to turn inward, to refocus on our connection with ourselves. At its core, refocusing on self-connection means taking this experience as an opportunity to nurture and strengthen our relationship with ourselves, finding comfort, value, and peace within. It's about shifting our attention from seeking validation outside to fostering a deep sense of belonging within. When we turn inward, we begin to recognize that our true source of value and worth doesn't come from others' opinions, approval, or attention. While being acknowledged by others feels wonderful, relying solely on external validation makes our sense of self vulnerable to the actions and moods of others. Refocusing on self-connection allows us to reclaim our sense of worth, reminding ourselves that we are whole, complete, and worthy just as we are, regardless of how others choose to engage with us. This perspective isn't about ignoring the feelings of disappointment or sadness that may arise. It's about allowing ourselves to feel those emotions while also nurturing a self-sustaining foundation of self-worth. One of the first steps to refocusing on self-connection is learning to listen to our inner voice. Often in the hustle and bustle of everyday life, we become disconnected from our inner needs and desires. We might be so busy trying to meet others' expectations that we overlook what our own heart and soul truly crave. When we feel ignored by others, it can serve as a gentle nudge, asking us to pause, to quiet the noise around us, and to turn our attention inward. By spending time with ourselves, we start to hear our inner voice more clearly, and in that voice we find our own unique needs, dreams, and wisdom. This practice is incredibly grounding as it helps us align with what truly matters to us rather than constantly chasing external approval. Refocusing on self-connection also involves practicing self-compassion. Often when we feel ignored, we might be tempted to judge ourselves harshly, wondering if we did something wrong or if we're not enough. But self-compassion teaches us to treat ourselves with the same kindness, patience, and understanding that we would offer a dear friend. By being gentle with ourselves, we acknowledge that our worth is not defined by how others act toward us. Instead, it's rooted in the very essence of who we are. Self-compassion allows us to embrace our imperfections, celebrate our strengths, and support ourselves through moments of vulnerability. It reminds us that we are worthy of our own love and care, regardless of how others choose to engage with us. Engaging in activities that nurture our sense of self is another essential aspect of refocusing on self-connection. This can mean spending time doing things that bring us joy, peace, or inspiration. Whether it's reading, journaling, taking a walk in nature, meditating, or expressing ourselves through art, these activities allow us to connect with our inner being, free from the need for anyone else's approval or acknowledgement. These moments remind us that we can create our own joy and that happiness and fulfillment are within our reach whenever we choose to engage with what brings us true satisfaction. By cultivating this inner joy, we become less dependent on external sources of happiness and more connected to the abundant well of contentment within. Another way to refocus on self-connection is to revisit our values and aspirations. Often the feelings of being ignored arise when we place too much emphasis on how others perceive us. But when we center ourselves around our own values, whether it's kindness, creativity, resilience, or growth, we become anchored in something deeper than fleeting social interactions. We're reminded of what drives us, of the passions and dreams that make us who we are. Refocusing on these internal drivers helps us see the bigger picture of our lives. We become less swayed by the ups and downs of relationships and more focused on living in alignment with our authentic selves. This grounding process helps us feel more connected to ourselves, fostering a sense of fulfillment that's not dependent on external validation. Ultimately, refocusing on self-connection helps us build resilience. When we are deeply connected to ourselves, we can face moments of loneliness or discomfort without feeling as if we're losing a part of who we are. We become more capable of holding space for our emotions without letting them consume our sense of self. This resilience empowers us to weather the inevitable ebbs and flows of human relationships, knowing that, regardless of how others act, we have a stable and loving connection within. Moreover, as we deepen our self-connection, we often find that our relationships with others become richer and more meaningful. When we're not depending on others to fill gaps in our self-worth, we approach our relationships from a place of wholeness rather than neediness. We're able to appreciate others for who they are without expecting them to define who we are. This shift can lead to more authentic and balanced connections, where each person feels valued without the burden of fulfilling someone else's sense of worth. Refocusing on self-connection is a profound journey of coming home to ourselves. It teaches us that we are already whole and that everything we truly need resides within. In this space of inner connection, we find peace, confidence, and love that is unwavering and self-sustaining. So when others ignore us or fail to see our value, it becomes less of a blow to our identity and more of a reminder to turn back to ourselves. It is an invitation to reconnect with the quiet strength, beauty, and worthiness that exist within, empowering us to walk through life with grace, resilience, and an unshakable sense of self. Self-love and self-care are often spoken about as necessities for a happy life, but their real power goes beyond surface-level practices or feel-good routines. They are not just occasional indulgences or luxuries, but rather essential pillars of well-being that shape our relationship with ourselves and, by extension, with the world. When we truly embrace self-love, we honor our worth and nurture our inner peace. When we practice self-care, we provide ourselves with the support we need to thrive, both physically and emotionally. Together, these practices cultivate resilience, groundedness, and a lasting sense of fulfillment that radiates from within. Self-love begins with acknowledging our own inherent value, recognizing that we deserve to treat ourselves with kindness, respect, and compassion. It is about accepting ourselves fully, including our imperfections and our past mistakes, and understanding that these do not diminish our worth. Often people fall into the habit of judging themselves harshly, setting impossible standards, or comparing themselves to others. But self-love invites us to break free from these limiting patterns, embracing our uniqueness instead. It is a practice of speaking to ourselves with the same patience and care we would offer to someone we love dearly. When we prioritize self-love, we create an inner environment that is supportive, nurturing, and gentle, giving us the courage to face life's challenges without doubting our value. Self-love also empowers us to set boundaries that protect our mental and emotional health. When we truly value ourselves, we recognize the importance of surrounding ourselves with people who respect us, who honor our time and energy, and who contribute positively to our lives. Self-love helps us discern when relationships are nourishing and when they may be draining or toxic. It gives us the strength to say no to what doesn't serve us, not out of selfishness, but out of a deep understanding that we are responsible for maintaining our well-being. This ability to set boundaries is crucial because it prevents us from overextending ourselves or feeling obligated to others at the expense of our peace. Self-love, therefore, becomes a guiding light, helping us make choices that are aligned with our well-being and our true values. Self-care is the practice of actively supporting our well-being through intentional actions and routines. While it can include enjoyable activities like pampering ourselves, its true essence goes beyond temporary comfort. Self-care is about taking deliberate steps to sustain our physical, mental, and emotional health over the long term. It encompasses a range of practices from getting enough sleep, eating nourishing food, and moving our bodies to engaging in activities that stimulate our minds, inspire us, and bring us joy. By investing time and energy in self-care, we acknowledge that we are worthy of love and attention just as we are. This commitment to self-care is not only a way of honoring ourselves, but also a reminder that we are deserving of the best we can offer ourselves. One of the profound benefits of self-care is that it enables us to show up more fully for others. When we are well-rested, balanced, and nurtured, we can offer our best selves to our relationships, our work, and our communities. By taking care of our needs, we have more to give, and we give from a place of abundance rather than depletion. This is why self-care is not selfish, it is an essential foundation for being our best selves. When we are able to approach our lives from a state of wholeness and balance, we naturally contribute more positivity, compassion, and understanding to the world around us. Self-love and self-care work together to foster resilience. Life is filled with challenges, and there will be times when we feel stressed, overwhelmed, or hurt. When we have established a foundation of self-love and a routine of self-care, we are better equipped to navigate these moments without being consumed by them. Self-love gives us the inner strength to hold on to our self-worth, even when external circumstances are tough. Self-care provides us with tools and practices to soothe ourselves, regain our balance, and heal when needed. Together, they create a support system that enables us to bounce back from difficulties with greater ease and grace. Practicing self-love and self-care also opens up a world of inner joy. When we treat ourselves with kindness and prioritize our needs, we cultivate a positive relationship with ourselves. This positivity becomes a source of inner joy, one that is not dependent on external validation or circumstances. We begin to realize that happiness is not something we have to seek outside of ourselves, but something we can create and nurture within. This shift in perspective is empowering because it frees us from the constant chase for external approval. Instead, we find contentment in our own company, in our ability to care for ourselves, and in the knowledge that we are complete as we are. Another beautiful aspect of self-love and self-care is that they reinforce each other. As we grow in self-love, we naturally feel more inclined to take care of ourselves. We begin to treat ourselves with more kindness and to prioritize our well-being. Conversely, the more we engage in self-care practices, the stronger our sense of self-love becomes. Each act of self-care is a reminder that we are worthy, and this consistent affirmation strengthens our belief in our own value. Over time, self-love and self-care become a natural and integral part of our lives, shaping the way we see ourselves and interact with the world. Embracing self-love and self-care as daily practices transforms our relationship with ourselves and brings a sense of inner peace and fulfillment. They teach us that we are worthy of love, care, and attention, regardless of what others may think or how we may have been treated in the past. By committing to these practices, we empower ourselves to live authentically, to honor our needs, and to cultivate a life that reflects our true worth. Self-love and self-care remind us that we have the power to create a life filled with joy, peace, and resilience starting from within. They are gifts we give to ourselves day after day, creating a foundation of well-being that supports us in every area of our lives. Life is a journey filled with experiences, challenges, and moments of both joy and sorrow. Every experience we go through carries with it a lesson, a piece of wisdom meant to shape and strengthen us. Embracing life's lessons means recognizing that each encounter, good or bad, holds something valuable for our growth. It's an invitation to see beyond the surface of events, to find meaning in our struggles and celebrate our progress along the way. When we approach life with an open heart, ready to learn, we transform every experience into a stepping stone, creating a foundation for a more resilient and fulfilling life. Often, life's most profound lessons come through our challenges, disappointments, and losses. It's in the hard times that we are stretched beyond our comfort zones and pushed to discover new strengths within ourselves. These moments can be painful and difficult, but when we choose to learn from them, they become opportunities for growth. Adversity has a unique way of revealing our resilience and testing our beliefs. It invites us to question our assumptions, to dig deeper, and to rise above our circumstances. Embracing the lessons in our hardships doesn't mean we deny our pain or pretend that everything is okay. Rather, it means we allow ourselves to feel, to process, and to grow from our experiences. One of the most valuable lessons life teaches us is that we have the power to choose our perspective. Every experience can be viewed from multiple angles, and while we can't always control what happens to us, we can choose how we respond. Learning to shift our perspective to see setbacks as setups for growth can radically transform how we experience life. This isn't about being overly optimistic or ignoring reality, but rather about cultivating a mindset that looks for the silver linings and lessons in every situation. When we train ourselves to find meaning in the midst of chaos, we begin to feel more empowered, more in control of our inner world, and better equipped to handle whatever life throws our way. Another key aspect of embracing life's lessons is learning to let go. We often hold on to past experiences, harboring resentment or regret, which can weigh us down and prevent us from moving forward. Life teaches us time and again that holding on to the past serves little purpose except to keep us stuck. Letting go doesn't mean forgetting or pretending things didn't happen. It means releasing the emotional weight attached to our experiences. By forgiving ourselves and others, we free up space in our hearts and minds, allowing us to move forward with greater ease and openness. Letting go is an act of self-compassion and a crucial part of learning from life's lessons, as it clears the way for new experiences and new growth. Patience is another lesson that life continuously reinforces. In a world that often values instant results and quick fixes, it can be challenging to accept that true growth and healing take time. We may want immediate answers, immediate relief from pain, or immediate success, but life operates on its own timeline. Embracing patience means trusting that everything unfolds as it's meant to, even when we can't see the bigger picture. When we develop patience, we learn to appreciate the process of growth rather than rushing to the destination. We come to understand that life's lessons aren't always clear right away, and that sometimes it's only with time and perspective that we see the full value of our experiences. Life also teaches us about the importance of self-compassion. As we navigate challenges and learn from our mistakes, it's essential to be gentle with ourselves. Embracing life's lessons includes accepting that we're human, that we'll stumble and make errors along the way. By treating ourselves with kindness, we create a safe space to learn and grow. Self-compassion helps us move forward without the burden of shame or guilt, allowing us to view our missteps as part of the learning process rather than personal failures. When we can forgive ourselves, we open the door to continuous growth, unhampered by harsh self-judgment. Moreover, embracing life's lessons means recognizing the interconnectedness of our experiences. Every lesson we learn builds on the ones that came before, shaping us into who we are. When we reflect on our lives, we can often see patterns or recurring themes in our experiences, each adding a new layer of understanding. This continuity shows us that life is always guiding us, offering insights that prepare us for the road ahead. By acknowledging this interconnectedness, we start to view our lives as a cohesive journey rather than a series of random events. We begin to trust that everything happens for a reason, and that each lesson learned contributes to our overall growth and purpose. Finally, embracing life's lessons encourages us to be open to the unknown. Life is filled with uncertainty, and no matter how much we plan, we can't predict everything that will come our way. Learning to accept and even welcome the unknown is a vital part of growing. It teaches us to be flexible, to adapt, and to remain curious. Instead of fearing the unknown, we can choose to see it as an opportunity for discovery. When we remain open to new experiences and new lessons, we keep our minds and hearts flexible, ready to learn and grow in ways we may not have anticipated. In essence, embracing life's lessons is about cultivating a mindset of openness, curiosity, and resilience. It's about recognizing that every experience, no matter how small or challenging, carries the potential for growth. When we approach life this way, we create a foundation of inner strength and wisdom. We learn to trust ourselves, to believe in our capacity to overcome, and to see life as a partner in our journey of self-discovery. Through every twist and turn, life's lessons guide us toward a deeper understanding of ourselves and a greater appreciation for the journey itself. In embracing these lessons, we transform, becoming more compassionate, resilient, and fully alive, ready to face whatever comes our way with grace and gratitude. Empowerment and inner peace are two powerful states of being that, when cultivated together, can profoundly transform our lives. They are closely intertwined, as one naturally supports and enhances the other. Empowerment gives us the strength and courage to pursue our goals and face challenges with resilience, while inner peace provides the calm and clarity we need to make decisions and maintain balance amid life's ups and downs. Together, they create a foundation for a fulfilling, balanced, and purpose-driven life. Cultivating these qualities doesn't necessarily happen overnight. It's an ongoing journey of self-discovery, self-acceptance, and self-care. However, when we commit to building empowerment and inner peace within ourselves, we unlock a wealth of potential and a deep sense of contentment that radiates throughout every area of our lives. Empowerment begins with a commitment to understanding and embracing our true selves. Often, we limit ourselves based on the beliefs, opinions, and expectations of others, allowing these external forces to shape our sense of self-worth and our perception of what we are capable of achieving. True empowerment, however, requires us to look inward and recognize that we have the power to define ourselves. It's about understanding that we are the authors of our own lives and that we hold the pen to write our stories. When we take ownership of our identities and release the need for external validation, we start to build a foundation of empowerment that is grounded in authenticity. This self-ownership allows us to make decisions and set boundaries that honor who we truly are, rather than constantly seeking approval from others. A key aspect of empowerment is self-confidence. Confidence isn't simply the belief that we can achieve our goals, it's also the understanding that we are capable of handling whatever comes our way, even if it's not what we expected. Confidence is built through experience and by facing challenges head-on, which helps us trust in our abilities. When we face difficulties, we often discover strengths we didn't know we had, and each time we overcome an obstacle, we add another layer to our confidence. This sense of inner power grows when we acknowledge and celebrate our progress, no matter how small it may seem. Each step forward reinforces our belief in ourselves and our ability to create positive change in our lives. Inner peace, on the other hand, is about finding stillness and contentment within, regardless of external circumstances. Life is filled with unpredictability, and sometimes things happen that are beyond our control. Inner peace does not mean that we are unaffected by challenges or that we ignore our emotions. Rather, it's about cultivating a calm, centered state of mind that allows us to process and respond to situations without becoming overwhelmed. Inner peace is the ability to pause, breathe, and remember that we have the tools to navigate whatever is in front of us. It's a mindset that helps us stay grounded, even when the world around us feels chaotic. One of the ways to cultivate inner peace is through mindfulness and present moment awareness. Many of us spend a lot of time either worrying about the future or dwelling on the past, which can lead to unnecessary stress and anxiety. Mindfulness is the practice of bringing our attention to the present moment and fully engaging with what is happening right now. When we focus on the here and now, we free ourselves from the mental noise and allow ourselves to experience life more fully. This practice helps us connect with ourselves on a deeper level and can be a powerful tool for calming our minds and finding peace within. Empowerment and inner peace also require us to cultivate self-compassion. This involves treating ourselves with the same kindness and understanding that we would offer a loved one. Often we are our own harshest critics, and we may judge ourselves for our mistakes, setbacks, or perceived shortcomings. However, when we practice self-compassion, we acknowledge that we are human, that we are learning, and that it's okay to make mistakes. By letting go of self-judgment and replacing it with self-compassion, we create a nurturing inner environment that fosters both empowerment and peace. When we treat ourselves with kindness, we build a strong foundation of inner support that gives us the confidence to pursue our goals and the calmness to handle setbacks with grace. Another important element of empowerment and inner peace is gratitude. Gratitude helps us shift our focus from what we lack to what we have, creating a sense of abundance and contentment. When we practice gratitude, we begin to see the beauty in our lives, even in the small, everyday moments. This appreciation fosters inner peace by grounding us in the present and reminding us of the positive aspects of our lives, which can sometimes be overshadowed by challenges. Gratitude also strengthens our sense of empowerment because it reminds us of our own resilience and the resources we already have within us to overcome difficulties. By acknowledging the blessings in our lives, we reinforce our inner strength and enhance our sense of fulfillment. Empowerment and inner peace also go hand in hand when we align our lives with our values. When we live in accordance with our beliefs and priorities, we experience a sense of integrity and authenticity that fuels our inner strength. Making choices that reflect our values gives us a sense of control over our lives and strengthens our sense of self-respect. This alignment brings peace because we know that we are living in a way that feels true to who we are. When we stray from our values, we often experience inner conflict, which can lead to feelings of dissatisfaction or restlessness. By staying connected to what truly matters to us, we build a life that feels fulfilling and meaningful. Ultimately, the journey toward empowerment and inner peace is deeply personal, and it unfolds over time. It requires us to be patient with ourselves, to embrace the learning process, and to stay open to growth. It's about creating a life where we feel strong, capable, and at ease with who we are, no matter what life brings. By committing to this path, we foster a sense of wholeness that allows us to navigate life's challenges with confidence and respond to its beauty with gratitude. Empowerment and inner peace are gifts we give ourselves, and they are gifts that keep growing, allowing us to experience life from a place of fulfillment and joy.